of the hallmarks of any horror film, besides jump scares, is excessive violence. This is one characteristic that horror films share with the Fallout franchise. However, before this mod, the energy weapons felt a little lackluster in terms of violence and gore during combat and wouldn't really leave a lasting impression in your mind. This mod ameliorates that and makes the energy, fire, and plasma weapons really feel terrifying in Fallout 4. This mod is especially terrifying to NPCs who enjoy having skin. This mod adds several new special effects by default and even gives you the freedom to adjust the frequency of the critical special effects with the use of a holotape placed in your inventory right away. This mod overrides the default fire, laser, alien laser, and plasma critical effects. Now, whenever humans, ghouls, super mutants, feral dogs, or deathclaws die to critical hits from one of those elements, they will be reduced in an epic and gory fashion to just skeletal remains, rather than just leaving a pile of goo or ash behind. Now these weapons really feel dangerous, and it makes them a lot more fun to use in Fallout 4. Now Fallout will feel more violent and disturbing right down to its very core, making it look and feel even more like a horror movie. I think it's safe to say when you shoot someone with an energy weapon with this mod installed, there's a good chance they're not gonna be okay. Ah! You got me! I'm melting! I'm melting! I didn't die! I'm just really badly melted. You don't have a band-aid, do you? Be honest with me here, man. How long do you think I am? Ballpark it. Ah, you don't happen to know any doctors, do you? I rate this mod one polar bear who's terrible at winter.
I do not want to alarm anyone, but there appears to be a precariously low amount of friction over there. I am slipping and sliding everywhere, and I do not understand it.
When Fallout 4 first came out, I designed a mod called Significant Object Remover, which basically took all the important shit right out of the game. Diamond City, where'd that f***ing go? Who knows? Needless to say, it still hasn't gained any traction, and I've yet to get one f***ing endorsement. Now this mod author is clearly wicked smart and decided to remove only the objects from the game that would be considered insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Now this mod is equivalent to removing all the excessive porn off your computer that's just weighing down the performance. Maybe even get rid of that porn virus that makes your mouse cursor look like a big fat dildo. But that I may actually miss. This mod essentially removes all the insignificant objects that cause frame rate drops in the game, but are otherwise not very noticeable at all. These are items like excessive grass, rocks, and bushes. Basically things that are nice to have in the game aesthetically speaking, but if it causes performance issues, then f*** them. Who needs them, right? This mod is excellent for anyone who wants to get more performance out of their Fallout game, which in all honesty is anyone who plays Fallout regardless of your hardware. Now for console players and PC players alike, this is just an excellent addition to the game that really makes the game run a lot smoother without really any noticeable change to the environment. So it's like win-win. I rate this mod one alpaca that gets 0 swipes right on Tinder. Is it my hair? Is that what it is? There is nothing more immersion breaking than bad acting. Now when you first start up Fallout, it can kind of feel like you're in one of those bad action kung fu movies when you punch someone and they go flying right across the room. Or you shoot someone and they go flying into outer f***ing space. Well, this mod author attempts to rectify that issue and make Fallout 4 more believable in terms of the physics. This mod makes it so when you shoot someone with a bullet, it knocks them back in a realistic fashion, rather than physically lifting them off the ground. Also, dead bodies floating gently to the ground after being shot several times is no longer a thing. No longer a thing. Now when you get into a firefight in Fallout, it actually feels like a shooter in the sense that bodies fall to the ground in a realistic way. This is one of those mods that you think you're just fine without until you actually install it. You play with it for a little bit and then you try to play without it. This is an excellent addition to the game for anyone who wants to add more realism to the physics of it all. I rate this mod 2 dogs hanging out with one really crazy dog. Hey guys, I know we just met and all, but I just wanted to know if I could live in your basement.
We don't have a basement.
You do now! I dug it myself. Took me 7 minutes. Now, how many of you have tried to build a house without a foundation? Now, I have, and let me tell you, your neighbors will never really get over how f***ed up and saggy looking your house is. Now your kids, they'll get made fun of at school. They'll call them weird names like house and face. And your wife, yeah, she'll leave you for another man with a fully erect house. Baby, I swear, this never happens. Just give me 6 to 8 months and I'll get it fully upright, I promise. Now this mod adds the foundation for all other armor and weapon mods, making their transition far smoother to the Fallout world. This mod creates a standardized framework for armor and cosmetic keywords for mod authors to prevent conflicts. It also standardizes armor and cosmetic slot usage to prevent other conflicts. Now workbenches are also added to utilize for crafting items that have been added by mods. Furthermore, it adds sorting keywords for weapon calibers to make it easier for weapon modders to set up their gun mods for dynamic sorting. This mod also adds sorting keywords for melee weapon types as well as the framework for color and decal swapping attachments. Note that on PlayStation 4, the armor and weaponsmith benches must use vanilla meshes because mod authors cannot package files with PlayStation 4 mods. Basically speaking, this mod provides the framework or foundation that other weapon and armor mods are built off of. This is just one of those mods that if you plan on using modded weapons or armors, you'll definitely need this in your load order. And although PlayStation 4 users may not have a lot in terms of custom meshes or textures, it is still possible to add modded weapons and armors to the game using vanilla assets. So this is still a must-have mod even for PlayStation 4 users. I rate this mod 1 overly excited tomato. Holy shit, did bacon and lettuce just walk in the f***ing room? Now what's truly unbelievable about this mod is that people have asked about it on like every Fallout video we've done so far that features raiders, and we've never f***ing reviewed it. It's like that actor that you see in supporting roles in all sorts of movies, but you can never remember their f***ing name. Now, the raiders in the game can feel very ordinary. Oftentimes, they can feel like clones of one another in the sense that they all look the f***ing same. With their bland outfits and their shitty fighting techniques, the raiders in the vanilla game really aren't that interesting. This mod fixes that and makes the raiders a lot more interesting and exciting to engage with. Now this mod aims to add more style and diversity to the raiders of the Commonwealth. It adds various headwear and armor in the game that appear wilder and more savage. This mod also adds consumables to the game that also reflect the savagery and carelessness of the raider faction. This mod does require armor and keywords community resource to work properly. However, it is compatible with all CBBE body types, so for those of you who enjoy your raiders with big old titties, this mod will fit in nicely. Also, all the items that have been added are standalone and do not replace the vanilla textures. However, these new armor pieces have been incorporated on the raiders themselves, so they will randomly spawn with their new gear in the game when you come across a group of raiders. Now, if you want any of this new gear, it can all be crafted at the Armorsmith workbench, or you can pull that off the cold dead corpse of some raider scum. Now, these armors and clothing accessories look fantastic and fit the lore of Fallout very well, adding a ton of variety to the groups of raiders that you'll encounter, really making the game more immersive in the sense that every battle now looks different and feels unique. Also, this mod makes the raiders a little tougher, so they'll put up a better fight. The armors, as well as the new accessories, all have a Mad Maxy sort of vibe, which is great, because that movie makes my wee-wee happy. I rate this mod 1 lady getting married to her dog. Still not sure if that dog knows how crazy his wife is. Now, is there anything worse than stupidity? I mean, really, it's just such a bummer. It's a lot like when you try to adopt a kid, but you write your adoption application out of letters cut out of an assortment of different magazines. The letter just reads, "Bring one of the kids to the quarter of Fifth and Grand. No police!" Or when you're trying to hit on somebody, but everything you say comes out really self-sabotage sounding. "Hey, I noticed that you like wearing a lot of black there. Yeah, you must like dark things, huh? Yeah, ever walk down any dark alleys? I only asked because I'm a chloroform enthusiast." Now, having companions that don't know how to act can really have a negative effect on your playthrough, and can make having a companion feel more like a burden than an asset. This mod attempts to sort that flaw with some better AI in regards to the companions. Now, all of the companions have their AI tweaked, so they'll retarget nearby threats. This means they will no longer get mauled like a toddler covered in honey, trash-talking a group of grizzly bears. Most will also pull out a melee weapon if engaged in close-range combat, and have a decent weapon on hand. Also now, perception will affect their cone of fire if they're not moving or crouched. They will also now do critical hits on enemies, and this feature will be based off their luck stat. They will also indicate that they are under chem or alcohol effects, which is great because now you won't have to wait for them to hit mommy during Sunday brunch to know if you've got an addict for a companion. Furthermore, they adjust how they act in combat. For instance, non-stealthy characters are now less stealthy, and more stealthy characters are more stealthy. Cool, right? Each and every character is affected differently based on their character type. This is an extremely extensive mod that basically fully overhauls the companions in the game, making them act in very immersive ways. This is one of those mods that once you install it, you'll never want to wander alone ever again. They'll be there when you eat, when you sleep, they'll even hold the camera when you're hate Marcy long. Check out the mod authors page to see how each companion is affected specifically with this mod installed. This mod is unbelievably good and I would recommend it to anyone who likes a little company when they're exploring the Commonwealth. I rate this mod one lonely penguin.
Hey, has anybody seen my friends? Could have sworn that I had some.
A revolver is like your penis. If you put too many hands on it at one time, it can feel overwhelming and confusing all at once. So that means if you want to be a good gunfighter, you're gonna have to treat your gunfighting like you are masturbating. You'll have to hold the revolver with a firm but gentle grip, with only one hand on the unit and the other hand between your butt cheeks, finger, and your asshole. This technique gives you full dexterity and mobility in regards to aiming, as well as relaxes you in those high-tension situations. This mod is really designed for people who want a more cowboy-like feel when it comes to the revolvers in the game. This mod changes the first-person animations on the revolver to go from John Wick's to Clint Eastwood. The revolver animations go very well with button-lowered weapons and toggled revolver fanning, which are two other gun animations. What I really like about button-lowered weapons with this mod installed is that when you lower your weapon, your character will hold the gun like he's about to get in a duel, which looks super cool and makes me feel like Doc Holliday. Also, when you holster the weapon, your character does like a spinny thingy with the gun, which may not be like super practical, but I bet panties have a really hard time staying dry after seeing that fancy shit. Either way, this mod is very well done and completely changes your perspective of your own character when you use a revolver in first person. Downloading this mod is definitely a good idea, especially if you enjoy westerns, gunfights, revolvers, and big titties. I rate this mod one cow who had way too much cocaine. Fun night, huh? Now, although the vanilla lockpicking minigame is good, it can still feel pretty breaking at times, especially when you're holding a missile launcher or a fucking fat man. It's like, hey, I got this gun that can obliterate anything I pointed at, this door's made of wood, and there's a bunch of super mutants behind me about to go fucking rape sandwich on my ass. But I'm just gonna kneel down here and I'm gonna use this bobby pin and take up some precious time. This mod actually sorts all that out. It adds a few very lore-friendly ways of opening doors without having to use the lockpicking minigame. So that means that your deadbeat f***ing settlers won't be able to hog that staff bathroom anymore. Yeah, there's somebody in here ***ing. Yeah. Go away. Hey, what's that ticking sound? What's going on? Now, if you have 11 points of strength, you can actually bash open any door you want. Which makes sense because you're strong as fuck. I mean, if you have 11 points of strength, you definitely lift, bruh. Now, if you don't have 11 points of strength, don't fret, because you can still blow those sons of bitches open with some f***ing explosives. All you need is the perk Demolition Expert at rank 1 or higher, and you'll be able to use grenades, mines, and other explosive devices to open doors. You can even use a Fat Man or missile launcher, but I mean, that could be considered overkill. Now, if you do have a frag grenade or a mine in your inventory, you can actually craft a little C4 on the door that will explode after a few seconds. If you don't have either of those things, you can also open doors by shooting them with powerful guns or hitting them with powerful melee weapons. Shotguns open novice and advanced locks, the sledgehammer opens up advanced locks, and the super sledge can open up those pesky master locks. I rate this mod one dog that gives absolutely zero fucks. This is a small mod that has a huge impact in the game. I don't think there's anything more breaking than shooting your gun at something like fucking 20 feet in front of you, just to see your bullets didn't have any fucking impact on the surface whatsoever. What the fuck? Well, don't fret, because this mod can sort you out. It allows those bullet impact effects to show up even at long ranges. Now I won't have to come up with some elaborate story to tell my friends when they come over to watch me play Fallout as to why the bullets don't show up at long distances. Yeah, I know they're not there, Billy. My character's just really nearsighted and he hasn't had time to visit the optometrist, being as how the fucking world exploded and all. I'm just kidding, I don't have any friends. This mod allows the bullet effects to be visible up to 500 meters away, and that doesn't include if you stand super far back from your monitor. There is also now a 2,000 decal limit overall. Now, I'm not entirely sure what the decal limit was before this mod, but I can only assume it was shit. Just shit. And I mean, I bet this mod just takes a steamy fucking dump all over the vanilla game's chest in terms of decal limits. All kidding aside, this really is one of those must-have mods. I mean, once you've installed this into your game, you really can't picture Fallout 4 without it. I rate this mod 2 guys pressing their foreheads together in what can only be described as a completely normal social situation. Let's face it, finding a legendary weapon or armor piece in Fallout is always a real treat. However, there are some disadvantages to legendaries in Fallout 4. Like for instance, let's say you find a weapon with a wicked legendary, but it's on a poopy weapon or armor. It's like getting clothing for Christmas. You get all excited because it's in a big box, only to find out it's a sweater. Like, what the fuck, Grandma? This mod changes that though, and lets you put legendary effects on your favorite weapons or armors in the game. Now, there is an immersive version where you still have to find the legendary weapons or armor with the desired effect, and then you can actually switch them to other weapons and armor. And there's also a game-breaking variation of this mod where you can just legendary up any weapon or armor with any effects all willy-nilly, which is kind of cool. Now, this is definitely the type of mod that's sure to change the way you play Fallout 4, making your favorite weapons that much more formidable in the game. You're never, ever gonna waste a legendary effect ever again. I rate this mod that moment when you're doing something super private and someone opens the door and surprises you. Ah! What is it? One of the things that's different about Fallout 4 from the previous Fallout games is the addition of voice actors for both the male and female protagonists in the game. Now, this is a really cool feature, but depending on your character build, it can actually take away from your immersion in the game. Well, this mod ameliorates that and creates a silent protagonist yet again in the game. This way, you'll be able to roleplay until your panties burst. And boy, do I love to roleplay until my panties burst. This mod is sure to change your game almost completely and prompt you to talk to a video game again for hours at a time. And when your mom busts in to ask who you're talking to, you can freak out and scream, "Nobody, Mom! F***! Get out of my room!" I rate this mod the face you make when you watch the 8th season of Game of Thrones.
Are you tired of wanting to play an immersive playthrough of Fallout 4, only to have to drag all that useless shit back and forth between settlements whenever you find something you'd like to loot? Or maybe you're exploring and you hit your carrying capacity and you'd rather not have to walk your slow ass all the way back to the nearest fucking settlement just to keep all that barely useful paraphernalia. Now, before this mod, you had 2 options, and they were both immersion breaking as fuck. You could use console commands to increase your carrying capacity to something ridiculous, making you the strongest person on the planet, or you could use a zero weight mod for your items, which would make all of your items completely weightless. And as we all know, items that weigh nothing are super realistic. And for all you people that don't know what sarcasm is, that was a joke. They're not realistic at all. This is the solution every immersion hoarder has been waiting for. This mod allows you to set up salvage beacons that will have your settlers come and salvage items for you. All you have to do is set up a communication station in one of your settlements and assign a settler to that station. Then you craft a salvage beacon in the chemistry station under utility. Once you have a bunch of junk you want your settlers to come pick up, you just put all that crap inside a container with one of the salvage beacons. The settlers from your nearest settlement with a communication station in it will come and collect the items, which will then be transported to a vanilla settlement of your choice. It's actually really cool to see how functional and immersive this mod is. The settlers actually come out to the container and the salvage beacon genuinely sits on top of that container until the items have been delivered. This is a great mod that functions perfectly and keeps things immersive as fuck. I rate this mod the dozens of things that had to go perfectly right to make this mustache a reality. This mod adds more vivid textures to a lot of the roads and bridges in Fallout 4. Many city grounds and walls are edited as well. The textures look marvelous and really bring the world to life. Just look at how sexy everything gets when you use this puppy. Just makes me want to press my penis right up against my computer screen, just so I can feel the textures on the tip. Improved textures in a more visually appealing Fallout is already pretty mind-blowing. But wait! Hold on to your hats, boys and girls, because that's not all this mod does. It actually improves the performance of the game as well. Just like when I shave my balls, it doesn't just make them look sleek as f***, it also makes me more aerodynamic. Because the last thing you want is unwanted drag caused by a loose ball hair. So having this mod installed actually makes your game look better, and it increases your frames per second, giving you an even smoother playthrough. I know what you're thinking. How the f*** is that even possible, Baters? That doesn't make any sense. The answer is it clearly isn't. This mod author must be some sort of magical fairy goblin, likely banned from an imaginary kingdom for making the place too f***ing immersive. There is no way to understand the magic behind this mod, so don't even try. Just know that it functions great and it makes your game look realistic as shit.
I rate this mod 1 giant bike helmet and 1 tiny motorcycle.
This mod adds a new version of the Pipboy Light to the game. Now this mod combined with any other mod that makes exteriors or interiors darker would create a very unique and terrifying atmosphere for the player. This light includes dynamic shadows, volumetric light, and a unique light spill. This will definitely help prevent you from running into a spider web in the dark, which is terrifying as f***.
It's in my hair! It's in my hair!
Now simply put, this makes the Pip-Boy look a lot more like a flashlight when it's turned on, having a more focused point of illumination and keeping everything outside of that lit point dark as f***. This is a lot different than the vanilla light that tends to light up everything in every direction a certain distance away from the player. Now this mod has a ton of customization options, including but not limited to 120 different light textures for both the Pip-Boy and Power Armor, 10 different distance settings, 2 emitter positions, 2 sets of sound effects, alternative third-person animations, offset first-person light meshes, and more. This is a wonderful mod that really makes nighttime absolutely terrifying. It adds to the overall atmosphere and it makes every time you go around a corner a truly nerve-wracking experience. I would highly recommend this mod to anyone who wants a more intense atmosphere when the sun goes down. I rate this mod 4 guys who like blowing on unnecessarily large instruments. It needs to be 20 feet long. Any shorter just wouldn't work. Now, if you're like me, you've taken a ride in a Vertibird once or twice and thought to yourself, wow, this is really high up. I wonder what it'd be like to hurl my lifeless body over the wing of this contraption. Now, before this mod, that really wasn't an option. I know, boo-hoo. You had to get to wherever you were going and get off this aeronautically challenged chubby aircraft like a loser. Now you can say that and jump into the wind like a really twisted extreme sports junkie. Wow, this is gnarly, bro. Gnarly. Is there any way that you could fly this son of a bitch over an active volcano? Because that would really braid my ball hair, bro. This mod gives you the ability, nay the privilege, to throw your tight little butt cheeks out of a moving Vertibird. And I don't know about you guys, but that type of gets me so excited I just want to share the experience with somebody close. Hey Hancock, did you hear? We can jump out of planes now. It feels a lot like this. See, you're flying. You're flying. You're like a majestic 6-foot falcon. Or like a very deformed looking bald eagle. Embrace it. When you hit the ground, tuck and roll. Now, one of the most annoying things there is when you're flying in a Vertibird and you see something that really catches your eye, and you just want to jump down and get close to it, maybe even touch it with your hands. Before this mod, you'd have to watch that special thing just pass you by. But now, you can jump out and get your touch and grab on. Recommend wearing power armor though when you jump out of this Vertibird, unless of course you like being dead after you hit the ground. Vertibirds tend to fly like up in the air, some might even say a precariously high distance from the ground. This mod is a great fix that adds a lot to the functionality of Vertibirds and actually makes them a lot more fun to utilize in the game. I rate this mod Kermit the Frog riding a donkey. Now, one of the most discouraging things about settlement building in Fallout 4 is when you're in the middle of a build and you have to stop everything because you've reached your building capacity. Now, if you want to build large structures in any settlements other than Spectacle Island, then unlimited building is a must-have mod. Now, this mod increases your settlement budget of your settlements to something absolutely absurd. The number is so large that there really is no way to reach it without crashing your game. With that said, this mod could affect the performance of your game. If you're building larger than normal settlements, you could possibly expect a frame rate drop or other performance issues if you're making them too f***ing big. If you are building on PC, then it comes down to your hardware on how big you can make your settlements. Now, console players will have the same situation, however, you might be able to find out more about the capacity by checking with other console users as the hardware is consistent. Either way, save often when using this mod just in case you go over capacity and your game explodes. I'm just kidding, it won't explode, but it could crash or cause a corrupt file.
Now, the settlement budget is important, but sometimes rules are just meant to be broken. And then other times rules aren't meant to be broken. I mean, handling a baby, for instance, is a touchy subject. Now, they say you should never shake a baby, and I agree with that. Unless, of course, you're in an argument with that baby, and the baby's winning. Then you shake the shit out of that baby. Now, this is an excellent mod, and honestly, I couldn't build sufficiently awesome settlements in my game without it. Just to give you an idea, the Coliseum that I built in this video, I wouldn't have been able to get halfway without some sort of settlement budget increase. I rate this mod one kid who just sucks at outdoorsy stuff. Come on, Timmy, at least try to catch the ball, for f***'s sake. This mod is absolutely essential for anyone who wants to build some badass settlements in the Commonwealth. This takes all the rules you knew to be true and blue pills the shit out of them. It lets you place objects such as walls, floors, chairs, beds, really anything craftable in any place you want, even inside of other items. I once placed a pole inside of a wall over and over and over again until the wall got pregnant. Place Everywhere requires Fallout 4 script extender to work properly, so unfortunately it's not available for Xbox players. However, there is a very similar mod called Place Anywhere by Registrator 2000 that is available for Xbox players. Now, the link to both of these mods will be in the description. Now, this mod has a ton of options that give the player an endless amount of freedom when it comes to building in their settlements. You can change the angle of the objects as well as the size by using different numbers on the number pad of your keyboard. Now, Place Anywhere has very similar options that are located in a menu that will appear when you interact with objects. There are 5 different sub-menus including position, scaling, physics, properties, and mod settings. This mod allows you to make precise movements of any object. So if that object doesn't snap in place, you can still get it in the exact spot that you want it. To me, this is an absolutely essential mod when it comes to settlements in Fallout 4, and one that has endless benefits, really allowing the player to create something truly unique in the Commonwealth. I rate this mod the one moment that lady realized that antagonizing a bull was a bad idea.
Oh my god, I regret this so much. I regret this immediately.
Outfits can really define you as a person. For instance, if you want to look employed, then just wear a Walmart vest around. Now people will think you have a job, even if you don't. If you want to look intelligent, then just wear a sign that says, "I'm smart as f***." People usually believe signs. I know I do. And if you want to look crazy, just wear someone else's face. Guaranteed no one's going to sit next to you on the bus if you're wearing the bus driver's face. This mod adds the ability, nay the privilege, to change your outfit on the fly quickly and efficiently. I know what you're thinking, why would I need to change my outfit quickly? Well, if you've ever been caught jerking off in a Sunday dress, then you know how important it is to change your outfit fast. This mod doesn't just make switching outfits possible, it also makes it easy. All you have to do is put the outfit on that you want to save, then use the options in your Pipboy to save that outfit under one of the loadouts. After the outfit is saved, you can hotkey the loadout option and switch to it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now you'll be able to express yourself in all sorts of ways with this mod installed, letting people know how you really feel at that very moment. I feel sexy. This mod is great if you want to be sneaky. You can run around in some light stealthy gear, and if you get caught being sneaky, then you can switch on the fly to some more armored attire. You can save up to 20 different outfits, so you'll have lots of variety to choose from. This hidden gem is truly an amazing mod that should have been in the game to begin with. I love to switch up my outfit in Fallout 4, and this makes that not only an option, but even a tactic you can use in the game. This is definitely a must-have mod for anyone's playthrough of Fallout 4. I rate this mod one very untrusting face at the local water park.
Come on in, guys. The water's fine.
One of the most immersion-breaking mechanics in Fallout 4 is when your character pulls out a weapon to use in combat, seemingly out of thin air. The weapon itself just pops into existence. Now, either the sole survivor is like an amateur birthday magician, or something wonky is going on here. I don't know what this witchcraft is, but it confuses my nipples. Well, with this mod installed, you will no longer have to justify this voodoo wizardry bullshit every time you pull out a weapon in the game. This mod will allow you to link weapons with clothing assets of those weapons. So as long as you have clothing assets of the weapons you are using in the game, you'll never have to suffer the unimmersive experience of seeing a weapon just appear into existence like you're running around in a fairy wonderland. Now, this mod will keep you grounded in the very real reality of a world that went to shit without semiconductors. and also marooned big-headed aliens and carnivorous freaks who you have to avoid at all costs. You know, the kind of realism that makes perfect sense. This mod will give the impression that when your weapon is holstered, that it is located on your person, like on your back or on your hip, or even glued to your nipples, you know, like a real go-getter. This makes equipping and unequipping weapons in Fallout look and feel much more realistic and believable. This, in a lot of ways, is a must-have mod if your goal is realism in the game. I rate this mod the face of someone who just saw a kid get hit in the face with a basketball.
Oh, shit. I think he's dead.
Wooden doors that aren't breakable are so immersion breaking, it makes me want to punch someone directly in the nipples. That really hurt. Well, with this mod installed, that will no longer be an issue, and nipples everywhere will be able to sleep easy, knowing my nipple punching days are over. With this mod installed, you'll be able to blow up any vanilla wooden doors that f with you or talk shit behind your back. This is not only a lot of fun, but it's incredibly satisfying to do so, and functionally very effective. Now, the doors in your settlement will be affected as well, as there's no way to segregate them from the other doors. However, they have been given a crazy high health bar, so it would actually take a lot of firepower to huff and puff and blow those doors down. Also, NPCs won't actually attack doors that they can't get in, as this is something that was never programmed into the game to begin with, meaning that if you have locked doors in your settlement, they'll be safe from prying eyes. Furthermore, the mod author didn't change any of the load doors for obvious reasons, as this could affect the functionality of the game. Now, closed wooden doors will no longer give you a headache, and you'll be able to show all your friends how cool you are with dramatic, incredibly impractical entrances. I would recommend this mod to anyone playing the game, as it bumps up the immersion to a whole new level and does it in a very fun way. I rate this mod one bird that is remarkably good at sucking his own penis. Would you look at that? After having this mod installed, it actually makes the vanilla weathers feel embarrassing to have. They actually feel like that one kid you kind of hope gets kidnapped. You like leave him alone in the park and shit with a sign around his neck that just reads, "We'll do anything for candy. ... Fucking anything. Winky face." True Storms is actually a complete overhaul of the storm system in Fallout 4, including new heavy and unique weathers, loads of new intense sound effects, interior sounds, particle effects, textures, fogs, dust storms, hazardous radiation rain, and more. It even adds to the realism of the game as well, with sneak bumps to the player and companions during storms, because let's face it, it would be a lot easier to sneak up behind someone during a storm than it would be to sneak up on them during a clear day. On a side note, chloroforming somebody is actually a lot tougher than it looks. I mean, they make it look really easy in the movies. You just grab somebody, but in real life, you just end up with a lifetime ban from Starbucks. Some of the new weathers include radiation rain, heavy dust storms, heavy fogs, heavy and light rain, and more. What really makes this mod great, though, are the sounds. The sounds are so vivid and real that it actually makes you feel like you're inside the game when the weather changes. A rad storm actually feels dangerous, and rain feels heavy and wet, making you actually feel bad for not putting roofs on your f***ing settlements. This mod brings the weather to life in the game, and it makes it a lot more fun to travel the Commonwealth and experience the Fallout world. This is definitely a must-have mod in anyone's playthrough of Fallout 4. I rate this mod one 3-year-old that's scary as shit. Okay, super crazy little girl, just put the knife down. Just put it away. Low-res blood textures are just awkward and disappointing. They're a lot like that awkward moment when you're watching a couple make out and they didn't realize you were in the room, but then they realize you're in the room and you gotta take the condom off your balls and leave. Hey buddy, can we help you? Oh shit, you caught me. Alright, I'll just right off. Okay, fair enough. That probably didn't have anything to do with low-res blood textures, but it was a pretty embarrassing moment for me and I just felt like I needed to share. This mod adds high-resolution blood textures to replace the vanilla ones in the game. There's 2 versions that can be downloaded. The basic version replaces the combat blood splatter, screen blood, and decapitation spurts. It increases the blood amount. All hits and decapitation effects now cause more blood stains. New wounds are also added for blunt, bladed claws, unarmed, and energy weapons. There's an increase in the screen blood size with a shorter duration. It also fixes the blood-stained creature glitch. It improves the blood textures. It also includes blood splatters, which are more realistic. There is also the standard version, which includes everything that's in the basic version, plus there is also blood pooling, additional blood stains from hits and torso explosions. Also, when a character is low on health, they will leave a trail of blood in their wake. Robots and synths will now bleed oil. And one final touch that adds the icing to the cake is dead characters can spasm around uncontrollably, just like the rest of us.
I rate this mod one kid who is clearly traumatized for life. Really, buddy? No time at all for clothes, but you had time for that hat and backpack combo, huh? Okay.
Did you ever just want to slow down time and take advantage of that moment? Like when you're in a firefight with some raiders, or you're running from a pack of ghouls, or when you're watching one of your settlers just really guarding the out of those fresh melons.
Yeah, that's it, you dirty bitch. You dig up those big old melons. Oh, God, yeah.
This mod does exactly what you would expect it to do. It slows down the course of time, which is perfect for savoring those precious moments. It even comes with hotkey activation, so you can switch it on and off real easy. You just add that little bitch to your favorites for that seamless transition. Now, although bullet time is pretty awesome, it does come at a cost. It can drain down your action points while you're in it. And although that is immersive, it does limit the amount of time you can spend in slow motion. However, everything in this mod is fully configurable, so if you don't like that, you can change it. It comes with 4 different speed settings, ranging from 70% that of normal speed, and getting as slow as 4% that of normal speed, which is the same speed time travels while your character is using VATS. You can also configure the amount of action points it costs while you're using bullet time, which also has a few different settings, ranging from draining your action points really fast to not draining them at all. So you can choose your poison and the degree of immersion. There are also visual effects that can be toggled to different settings. There are 3 settings total. Bullet time is a great alternative to VATS. While VATS takes control away from the player and keeps them rooted in one spot, bullet time lets you retain full control over your mobility and aim. So really, there's no one to blame but yourself when you can't hit shit. This is not only a great addition to the game, it actually changes the way you play it.
I rate this mod 1 twig right up the f***ing nose. Honest to God, I don't know what the f*** that thing is.
This mod does several things in the game. The main thing it does, though, is it gives you the ability, the lore-friendly privilege to dress your character any way you f***ing please. With this mod installed, you can now wear any outfit under armor pieces, and all armor pieces show up when they're equipped. It also allows gas masks and other face masks to be worn with open face helmets and hats, which honestly makes so much sense, it's scary. With this mod installed, you'll have the ability to fully express yourself and wear what you want, just like in real life. And so what if people call you weirdo or crazy? I mean, sometimes people call me crazy or psycho in real life, and I just say to those people, get back in the f***ing cage, or I'll spray you with the hose again! This mod author overhauled the armor modding system as well, with entirely new options and categories. The mod author didn't stop there though. No. There is now a new craftable workbench called the Armorsmith workbench, which has a bunch of uniquely designed armors which can be crafted, including helmets with hair and gloves and shit. So it adds all this and much more. This mod is essential to the game in my opinion, and it really brings up the immersive factor tenfold. It really allows you to be fully creative with how your character looks in the game, and for a lot of gamers that will have a huge impact on their playthrough. Now, just like in life, you can wear anything you want. If you want to wear a dress and some f***ing armor, go ahead. Be weird.
I rate this mod 2 monkeys that are high as fuck on peyote. Yo, that cloud right there, dude, it looks just like Shania Twain's first CD. It's f***ing mesmerizing.
This mod makes nights in the Commonwealth even darker. Interiors are also affected in the game as well, making them even darker if they're not well lit, but if they are well lit, it still makes them a little bit darker. This just adds to the realism of the game, giving every environment a more realistic lighting effect. There are several levels of darkness to choose from depending on how much of a bitch you are. If you're a chicken shit little boy, then you can just pick the dimmest
setting, right? It's basically like running around the Commonwealth with a fucking nightlight. Or if you got them big old balls, or you got a girl over you're trying to impress, you can make it the darkest setting, which is basically pitch black, making it scary as shit. Now, there are also realism elements that come along with this mod that affect NPC's ability to detect you in low lighting situations. This mod also comes with an optional alternative night vision mode, which changes the night vision in the game if you're not a fan of the vanilla night vision. There is also a 24/7 night mode that can be enabled, which makes it night 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you can't just sit in a chair and wait for the scary time to be done anymore. You'll actually have to run around in the dark, scared out of your f***ing mind.
It's in my hair! It's in my hair!
This is an excellent mod, and it really adds to the realism of the game, making Fallout 4 even more immersive. I would highly recommend this mod to anyone's playthrough of Fallout, regardless of whether you wanted to add to the scary factor or not. I rate this mod one hipster who thinks mountain bikes are just way too popular. Yeah, it's awkward as hell, but I'm the first one to do it. Thanks again for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to slap that subscribe button like it's 3 weeks behind on your rent. Bitch! Where's the money, bitch? Where's the money? Where is it? Also, go ahead and hit that bell icon too, because apparently YouTube thought there should be extra steps. Why not, right?
I'd like to subscribe, but first I have to click this and this and do this. Oh, it needs an email. All right, and this. Okay. Just tell me when he's uploading.
Once you do all that, if you're lucky, at the stroke of midnight, a tiny little Averagebaters fairy might come and tickle your butthole. I hope to see you all again next time, and remember to keep on average baiting, baby.